1984 is a dystopian novel written by George Orwell. The protagonist, Winston Smith, lives in a society where the citizens are constantly being watched, controlled, and manipulated. Within this society, Winston wants to find out the truth about Big Brother and the Brotherhood, but he needs to be careful going about this, otherwise the consequences could be fatal. Within this book, we see the 5 following themes: control of information, technology, psychological manipulation, abuse of power, and the dangers of totalitarianism. Control of information is found on page 3. It says, there was of course no way of knowing whether you were being watched at any given moment, how often, or on what system. The thought beliefs plugged in on any individual wire was guesswork. It was even conceivable that they watched everyone all the time. This BBC News article shows an example of control. An example of technology is found on page 63. It says, at this moment the telescreen let out a piercing whistle. It was our signal to return to work. This article from the Washington Post is an example of technology. Psychological manipulation is found on page 155. It says, every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book has been rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street and building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and that process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. This Gazette article is an example of psychological manipulation. Abuse of power is found on page 213. It says, the past is whatever the records and memories agree upon, and since the party is in full control of all records and in equally full control of the minds of its members, it follows that the past is whatever the party chooses it to make it. This New York Times article is an example of abuse of power. Totalitarianism is found on page 254. It says, later in the 20th century, there were the totalitarians, as they were called. They were the German Nazis and the Russian communists. This Irish Examiner news article is an example of totalitarianism. Winston discovered the truth in 1984 when he read the infamous book written by Emmanuel Goldstein. The book told the truth about the party's motives, and in the end, Winston also discovered the truth that he actually loved Big Brother. As you can see, the book in 1984 has many themes, including control, technology, abuse of power, manipulation, and totalitarianism. These themes can also be related to our world today.